I want to tell you about the Thanksgiving dinner, where I thanked my wife for teaching me who she really was, right before I handed her divorce papers in front of 30 people. But to understand why I did it, you need to know about the girls' trip that ended my marriage 4 days in, and the 10 weeks I spent pretending everything was fine. My name is Christopher Hayes. I'm 35 years old, a financial analyst, a father of 2, and for 10 years I thought I knew exactly who I was married to. I was wrong. Let me take you back to the beginning. Not the beginning of the end, but the beginning when things were actually good. Amanda and I met in grad school. I was getting my MBA in finance. She was in communications. We were both broke, both ambitious, both stupid enough to think love and ramen noodles were enough to build a life on. Turns out, for a while, they were. We got married young, 25, and spent the first few years just trying to stay afloat. Student loans, entry-level jobs, a one-bedroom apartment where we could hear our neighbors' arguments through the walls. But we had each other, you know? When I studied for my CPA exam until 3 in the morning, Amanda would quiz me with flashcards. When she had panic attacks before big presentations, I'd sit with her and breathe until she was ready. We were a team. Then the kids came. Ethan first, 7 years ago. He was this perfect, screaming, terrifying little human who neither of us knew what to do with. I remember the first night home from the hospital, both of us just staring at him like, they really let us leave with a whole person. 2 years later, Lily arrived, and suddenly our apartment felt like a circus run by very small, very demanding ringmasters. I'm not going to lie and say it was easy. Money was tight. Sleep was a myth. Amanda and I argued about whose turn it was to change diapers, who forgot to buy milk, whether we could afford a bigger place. Normal stuff, the kind of stuff every couple with young kids argues about. But underneath all of it, I never doubted we were in it together. Amanda was an incredible mom. She did the Pinterest birthday parties, the homemade Halloween costumes, the color-coded chore charts that I never understood, but she swore kept us organized. She was the one Lily wanted when she had nightmares. She was the one who could decode Ethan's rambling stories about Minecraft and actually understand what he was talking about. And me? I was the dependable one. I coached Ethan's soccer team, even though I barely knew the rules. I never missed one of Lily's dance recitals, even when they were at 8 in the morning on a Saturday and every fiber of my being wanted to stay in bed. I handled weeknight dinners when Amanda worked late. I was present. I thought that mattered. 3 years ago, Amanda got promoted to account executive at a mid-sized marketing firm downtown. It was a big deal. Better pay, better title, actual career momentum. I was proud of her. She'd worked her ass off for it. The job came with longer hours and more travel, but we adjusted. I picked up more at home, made sure the kids got to school on time, handled homework, kept the house from falling apart. Fair is fair, right? She'd supported me through my CPA exams and career moves. Now it was my turn. Her new boss was a guy named Brandon, mid-30s, charismatic in that corporate bro kind of way. The type who uses words like synergy unironically and calls everyone champ. Amanda talked about him a lot. Brandon did this, Brandon said that, Brandon thinks we should pitch this client. I didn't think much of it. She was excited about work. That seemed like a good thing. Looking back now, I can see the signs I missed. The way she'd smile at her phone during dinner, the new clothes she bought for client meetings, the fact that she started going to the gym at 6 in the morning when she'd never been a morning person. But hindsight is 20/20, and at the time, I just thought she was feeling good about herself. I didn't know I should be worried. 6 weeks before Thanksgiving, Amanda came home from work with news about a trip. So, she said, setting her bag down in the kitchen while I stirred pasta sauce, Brandon's organizing this leadership retreat in Scottsdale. 4 days. Team building workshops, networking, that kind of corporate stuff. I glanced over at her. Sounds good. When? Early October, Thursday through Sunday. That's fine, I said. Kids and I will hold down the fort. She smiled, but there was something in it I couldn't quite read. Relief, maybe. It'll be good for my career. FaceTime with the executives, you know? You deserve it, I told her, and I meant it. A week before the trip, Amanda went shopping. She came home with shopping bags from stores she didn't usually go to. Expensive stuff. When I asked about it, she shrugged. I need to look professional, first impressions and all that. That night, I was putting away laundry and found new lingerie in her drawer. black lace, tags still on. My stomach did this weird flip. I stood there holding it, trying to figure out why it bothered me. We were married. She was allowed to buy nice underwear. But something about it felt off. The timing, the secrecy. I didn't say anything. I told myself I was being paranoid. What was I going to do? Interrogate my wife about her underwear choices? That's insane person behavior. The night before she left, we had sex. It felt obligatory, mechanical, like she was checking a box. Afterwards, she rolled over and went straight to sleep. I lay there in the dark, listening to her breathe, and thought, when did we become people who do this out of obligation? Amanda left for Scottsdale on a Thursday morning in early October. She kissed the kids goodbye. Ethan barely looked up from his cereal. Lily clung to her leg, and then she was gone. "I'll FaceTime you guys tonight," she called from the driveway. "Love you." Those 4 days were strange. Amanda texted sporadically. Workshop was boring. Pool is nice. Miss you guys. She sent a few photos to our family group chat. Her and 2 female coworkers by the pool, drinks in hand, sun-kissed and smiling. No sign of Brandon, but I found myself wondering if he'd been the one taking the photo. On Saturday night, she FaceTimed the kids. She looked happy, glowing even. Her skin had that sun-warmed flush. Her hair was loose and wavy, and when she laughed at something Ethan said about his soccer game, I noticed she seemed lighter, freer. I told myself the glow was from sun and margaritas. I wanted to believe that. She came home Sunday evening, exhausted. Claimed jet lag, even though Arizona is only 2 hours behind us. She went straight to the guest room and crashed. "I just need to sleep in my own bed," she said, which didn't make sense because the guest room wasn't her own bed, but I let it go. The next few days, Amanda was different, distant. She'd come home from work and go straight to her laptop, barely acknowledging me or the kids. When her phone buzzed, which was constantly, she'd grab it like it was a live grenade, check it, then set it face down, always face down. I tried to talk to her. "Hey, is everything okay? You seem off." "I'm fine," she said, not looking up from her phone. "Just tired." "Did something happen at the retreat?" Her head snapped up, eyes sharp. "What do you mean?" "I don't know. You just seem different." "I'm not different, Chris. I'm tired. Can you not make everything a thing?" I dropped it, but I felt it, this low-grade unease in my gut, like something was wrong, but I couldn't name it. 3 weeks went by. Amanda stayed distant, cold. We didn't have sex. We barely talked. She worked late almost every night, and when she was home, she was on her phone, texting someone who made her smile in a way she didn't smile at me anymore. And then, one Tuesday morning in late October, I woke up with a burning sensation when I peed. At first I thought it was a urinary tract infection. Uncomfortable, but not alarming. I was 35. Bodies do weird things. I figured I'd drink more water, maybe take some cranberry pills, and it'd clear up. It didn't. 2 days later, the burning was worse, and there was this unusual discharge. I felt embarrassed even noticing it, let alone thinking about calling a doctor. But it wasn't going away, and my hypochondriac brain started spiraling. Bladder infection, kidney stones, cancer. I made an appointment with my doctor for that Friday. Dr. Patel was a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who'd been my primary care physician for years. She did the exam, asked the standard questions. "Any new sexual partners?" I almost laughed. "No, married 10 years, just my wife." She nodded, made a note. "I'm going to run a full STD panel, just to rule things out." I stared at her. "An STD panel? I've been with the same person for a decade." "I understand," she said, her tone professional but not unkind. "But these symptoms can indicate a sexually transmitted infection, and it's important to test comprehensively." I left the office feeling insulted, offended even. I wasn't some guy who slept around. I was a married father of 2. This was absurd. 2 days later, Dr. Patel called. "Mr. Hayes, I need you to come in to discuss your results." I knew immediately. You don't get called in for good news. I sat across from her in that sterile office, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, and she told me I'd tested positive for chlamydia, easily treatable with antibiotics, common, nothing to panic about, except, "Given your monogamous relationship," she said carefully, "I need to inform you that your wife should also be tested and treated. Chlamydia is transmitted through sexual contact. The room tilted. I heard the words, but they weren't making sense. Chlamydia. Sexual contact. Amanda. Are you sure? I asked, my voice not sounding like my own. Could it be a lab error? The test is very accurate, Dr. Patel said. I'm sorry. I don't remember driving home. I just remember sitting in my car in our driveway, staring at the house. Through the kitchen window, I could see Amanda helping Lily with her homework, laughing at something our daughter said. Normal, easy, like nothing had happened, but something had happened. My body didn't lie. The test didn't lie. I sat there for 40 minutes, trying to make it make sense. Maybe she got it from a toilet seat. No, that's not how it works. Maybe it was dormant from before we met. No, we'd both been tested early in our relationship. Maybe. There was no maybe. She'd cheated. She'd brought it back from Scottsdale, and she'd given it to me. When I finally went inside, Amanda looked up from the table. Hey, where were you? Doctor's appointment, I said. She went back to Lily's math worksheet. Everything okay? We need to talk after the kids are in bed. Something in my tone made her look up again. Okay, she said slowly. I got through dinner on autopilot, helped Ethan with his reading homework, tucked Lily in, read her 2 chapters of the book we were working through, kissed her forehead, and told her I loved her. Normal dad things, while my entire world was collapsing. Amanda was in the living room when I came downstairs, sitting on the couch with her phone, always her phone. I need to tell you something, I said, sitting across from her in the armchair, not next to her. I couldn't be next to her. I went to the doctor this week because I had some symptoms, burning, discharge. I thought it was a UTI. She set her phone down, face unreadable. Okay? They ran tests. I tested positive for chlamydia. For a split second, I saw something flash across her face. Fear, maybe, or recognition. Then it was gone, replaced by confusion that looked almost genuine. What? That's impossible. That's what I said, but the test is accurate. She stood up, pacing now. So, what are you saying? That I gave it to you? I'm asking if you did. No, her voice pitched higher. Chris, I have no idea where you got that, but it wasn't from me. Amanda, I've been faithful for 10 years. You're the only person I've been with. And I've been faithful too. She was angry now, defensive. How dare you accuse me of cheating? Is this because of Scottsdale? Because I went on a work trip? I'm not accusing you. I'm telling you what the doctor said. If I have it, and you're the only person I've been with, then what? You think I slept with someone in Arizona and brought home an STD like a goddamn souvenir? She was crying now, or trying to. You're paranoid. You've always been jealous of my career, of the fact that I work with men, and now you're using this to... Amanda, stop! No, you stop. I can't believe you're doing this. After everything, you don't trust me? I stared at her, really looked at her, and I saw it. The performance, the way she'd pivoted from shock to offense to tears in under a minute, the way she was making this about my insecurity instead of her actions. You need to get tested, I said quietly. I'm not going to validate your paranoia. It's not paranoia, it's a medical necessity. If you have it and don't get treated, it can cause serious problems. She grabbed her phone, stormed toward the stairs. I'm sleeping in the guest room. I can't deal with this right now. Amanda, we're done talking, Chris. She went upstairs. I heard the guest room door slam. I sat there in the dark living room for hours, staring at nothing. This woman I'd loved for a decade, who I'd built a life with, who I'd trusted completely. She'd just looked me in the eye and lied. And she was good at it. That was the night I decided. I wasn't going to confront her again. I wasn't going to beg for the truth or give her chances to gaslight me into doubting my own sanity. I was going to be smart. I was going to gather proof, and I was going to protect my kids. The next morning, I called in sick to work. Amanda had already left for the office, didn't even say goodbye. I sat at the kitchen table with coffee and a legal pad and made a list. 1, get proof of the affair. 2, consult a divorce attorney. 3, protect custody of Ethan and Lily. 4, document everything. I started with our phone records. I logged into our carrier's website and pulled up Amanda's call and text logs for the last 3 months. What I found made my stomach turn. One number appeared hundreds of times. texts during work hours, texts late at night, calls that lasted 30, 40 minutes. The pattern started ramping up 2 weeks before the Scottsdale trip and exploded during those 4 days. Even after she came home, the texts continued, dozens per day. I ran a reverse lookup on the number, Brandon's cell phone. I sat there staring at the screen, at this digital proof of my wife's betrayal, and felt something inside me go cold. Not hot, not rageful. Cold, calculated. If I confronted her with this, she'd have an excuse. We're just friends. It's work stuff. You're reading too much into it. I needed more than texts. I needed proof that would leave no room for denial. I called a private investigator. The firm was recommended by a divorce attorney I'd Googled at 2 a.m, Marcus Webb, who specialized in high-conflict divorces. I didn't have an appointment with him yet, but his website had a list of recommended investigators for evidence-gathering and matrimonial cases. The PI's name was Jane Russo. She was blunt on the phone. What do you need? Proof my wife is having an affair. With who? Her boss. I have texts, but I need more. Photos, meetings, anything that proves it's not just professional. That'll be $3,000 up front, plus expenses. You sure you want to know? I thought about Ethan and Lily, about custody battles and divorce courts. Yeah, I'm sure. Give me 2 weeks. While Jane did her work, I did mine. I accessed our shared cloud photo account, the one Amanda and I had used for years to back up our phones. She'd forgotten I had access. Or maybe she thought I'd never look. I scrolled back to October, to the Scottsdale trip. There were photos she hadn't shared with me. Amanda and Brandon at a resort bar, sitting close, his hand on her lower back. Amanda laughing at something he said, her head thrown back, relaxed in a way I hadn't seen her in months. Another photo, the two of them by the pool at sunset, drinks in hand, looking at each other like they were the only two people in the world. I saved every single one, cataloged them by date, put them in a folder labeled evidence. Then I kept looking, found photos from before Scottsdale, a company happy hour where Brandon had his arm around Amanda's shoulders, a team lunch where they were sitting next to each other, their knees touching under the table. How long had this been going on? I didn't let myself feel it, not yet. I just documented, saved, organized, turned my grief into a spreadsheet. At home, I played the part. I was civil with Amanda, distant but not hostile. We moved around each other like roommates. She still slept in the guest room. We barely spoke. One night, I tested her. Hey, do you want to try marriage counseling? She looked up from her phone, always her phone, and frowned. Why would we need that? Because we barely talk anymore, because something feels off. I don't think we need counseling, Chris. I think you need to trust me more. So nothing's wrong? Nothing that your paranoia isn't creating? I nodded, dropped it. She went back to her phone, probably texting Brandon, and I went back to my plan. She wasn't fighting for the marriage. She wasn't even pretending to care that I was pulling away. That told me everything. A week after I hired Jane, Amanda's mother called me. Linda was a sweet woman, traditional, who'd always liked me. Christopher, honey, Amanda mentioned you've been feeling under the weather. Some kind of infection? I'd told Amanda's parents I'd had a mystery infection that required antibiotics. I'd hoped the embarrassment would push Amanda to get tested. Yeah, I'm okay now. Just had to get some treatment. Well, I told Amanda she should get checked too, just to be safe. You know, sometimes these things can be contagious in shared spaces. Amanda finally agreed to get tested. Her doctor gave her the same result. Chlamydia. Positive. When she came home from the clinic, she found me in the kitchen. Okay, so I tested positive for the same thing you had. My doctor said it could have been from a hot tub or... Amanda, that's not how chlamydia works. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't cheat. So either you did or we both got it from somewhere else. I didn't argue. I just wrote down the date, the result, and filed it with the rest of the evidence. 2 weeks after I hired Jane Russo, she called me. I've got what you need. We met at a coffee shop across town. She slid a manila envelope across the table. Your wife and her boss are definitely involved. I've got photos, timestamps, locations. It's all in there. I opened the envelope. Photos of Amanda and Brandon meeting for lunch. Not quick work lunches, but long, leisurely meals at a bistro across town. Brandon walking Amanda to her car in a parking garage, his hand on her lower back again. The two of them in Brandon's BMW, parked behind a strip mall, kissing. Hotel records. Amanda had told me twice in the last month that she was visiting her college friend Sarah in the next state over. Girls' weekend, she'd said. Jane had photos of Amanda checking into a Marriott downtown, alone. 30 minutes later, Brandon arrived. They stayed 4 hours. The second visit to Sarah was even clearer. Amanda checked into a Hampton Inn near the airport. Brandon's car was photographed in the parking lot. They didn't leave until the next morning. I sat there in the coffee shop, looking at these images of my wife's double life, and felt nothing. Just cold clarity. "This is good," I said. Jane raised an eyebrow. "That's it? Most clients break down or get angry." "I did that already. Now I'm just collecting data." She nodded, understanding. "What are you going to do with it?" "I don't know yet, but I'll be ready." I took the envelope home and added it to my growing file. Then I made an appointment with Marcus Webb, the divorce attorney. Marcus's office was in a sleek downtown building, all glass and steel. He was in his 50s, graying at the temples with a kind of calm demeanor that made you trust him immediately. I laid out everything: the STD, the texts, the photos, the hotel visits. Marcus listened, took notes, didn't interrupt. When I finished, he leaned back in his chair. "You've got a solid case for fault-based divorce. In this state, adultery affects asset division and can influence custody." "I want custody," I said. "That's non-negotiable." "Tell me about your involvement with the kids," I told him. The coaching, the recitals, the homework help, the bedtime stories. How I'd picked up the slack when Amanda's career took off. How she'd been working late, traveling, emotionally distant even before the affair. Marcus made more notes. "Courts favor stability for children. Your documented involvement helps. Her affair doesn't automatically disqualify her as a parent, but it can be a factor, especially if you can show it's affected her judgment and stability. What do I do? First, don't leave the house. That can be seen as abandonment. Second, start documenting everything. Every time you parent, every time she's absent. Third, I'll file for temporary custody arrangements. We can request that you get primary physical custody while the divorce is pending. How long will this take? Depends. If she contests, could be months. But given what you have, most attorneys would advise her to settle. She won't settle. She'll fight." Marcus nodded. "Then we prepare for a fight. But here's the key. You need to stay calm. The spouse who keeps their composure usually wins. Can you do that?" I thought about the last 3 weeks, the cold documentation, the performance at home. "Yeah, I can do that." "Good. One more thing. When are you planning to tell her you're filing?" I hadn't thought that far ahead. "I don't know." Marcus studied me. "My advice? Don't tell her until you're ready. Until the papers are filed, the accounts are protected, and you've got everything in place. Because once she knows, she'll lawyer up, and things will get complicated fast." "How long do I have to pretend?" "As long as it takes." I walked out of Marcus's office with a retainer agreement signed and a plan in motion. I had 10 weeks until Thanksgiving. 10 weeks to gather every piece of evidence. 10 weeks to secure temporary custody. 10 weeks to move assets, document my parenting, and build an ironclad case. 10 weeks to live in the same house as the woman who'd betrayed me and pretend I didn't know. I'd spent 10 years building a life with her. I'd spend the next 10 weeks learning how to leave it. The first thing I did was protect our finances. Marcus had advised me to move half of our savings into a separate account, legally defensible as preserving marital assets in preparation for divorce. I transferred $47,000 into a new account at a different bank, one Amanda didn't know about. I kept meticulous records of every transaction. Then I started documenting everything related to the kids. I kept a detailed calendar. Every school drop-off, every soccer practice, every dance class. I photographed homework I'd helped with, meals I'd cooked, bedtime routines. It felt cold, mechanical, turning fatherhood into evidence. But I needed it. Amanda barely noticed. She was working late almost every night now, coming home after the kids were in bed. On weekends, she had client meetings or networking events. I knew from Jane's reports that she was meeting Brandon. I let her go. Every absence strengthened my case. One Saturday morning, Amanda announced she was going to a day-long workshop downtown. I watched her get ready. Nice outfit, careful makeup, perfume, for a workshop. "What time will you be back?" I asked. "Probably 7. Don't wait up for dinner." Jane texted me 2 hours later. Subject checked into Hilton downtown, room 412. Male companion arrived separately, matches description of Brandon C. I spent that day with Ethan and Lily. We made homemade pizza, played board games, built a pillow fort in the living room. Lily fell asleep in my lap during a movie. Ethan asked, "Dad, why doesn't Mom ever do fun stuff with us anymore?" I kissed the top of his head. "She's busy with work, buddy." "And she's always busy." "I know, but I'm here." "I know," he said, and snuggled closer. Best day I'd had in weeks. Amanda came home at 9, not 7. Hair slightly mussed, makeup faded. That same glow she'd had after Scottsdale. She didn't apologize for being late, just went straight upstairs. I added it to the calendar, documented, filed. Week 5, I met with Marcus again. He'd filed for divorce, but the papers hadn't been served yet. "I want to wait until I have temporary custody arranged," I told him. "That'll take a few more weeks. The court date is scheduled for 3 weeks from now. And if I get it, then you'll have legal documentation that you're the primary custodial parent during the divorce proceedings. It's not final custody, but it's strong. What do I need to do? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep showing up. And don't give her any ammunition. No outbursts, no confrontations, nothing she can use to paint you as unstable." Week 6, Amanda's affair became more obvious. She stopped being careful. She'd smile at her phone during dinner, the rare nights she was home. She'd take calls in the garage, speaking in low tones I could hear through the door. Once, I heard her laugh and say, "I know, I miss you too." I didn't confront her. I just felt that cold calculation settling deeper into my bones. Week 7, I went to Ethan's parent-teacher conference alone. Amanda had said she'd meet me there, but she texted 20 minutes before. "Work thing came up, can't make it. Sorry." Ethan's teacher asked, "Will Mrs. Hayes be joining us?" "No, she's working late, but I'll fill her in." We talked about Ethan's progress. He was doing great in math, struggling a bit with reading comprehension, very social with his classmates. I took notes, asked questions, engaged. Afterward, I sat in my car in the school parking lot and imagined Amanda in some restaurant with Brandon, laughing over wine while I handled our son's education alone. I documented the missed conference, added it to the file. Week 8, I started planning Thanksgiving. My parents traditionally hosted. Big family gathering, my siblings and their families, Amanda's parents and her brother. Usually 20 to 30 people, turkey, stuffing, all the traditional chaos. This year felt different. I called my mom. "Hey, are we still doing Thanksgiving at your place?" "Of course, honey. Why?" "I need to tell you something." I paused, choosing my words carefully. "Amanda and I are separating. I'm filing for divorce." Silence, then, "Oh, Christopher, I'm so sorry. What happened?" "She had an affair with her boss. I found out about a month ago." "Oh my God, does she know you know?" "Not yet. I'm handling it legally first. But Mom, I'm going to tell everyone at Thanksgiving dinner." Another pause. "At Thanksgiving, in front of everyone." I know it sounds crazy, but she's been lying to everyone. You, Dad, her parents, our friends. She's made me look paranoid and controlling. I need witnesses when I tell the truth. My mom was quiet for a long time. "Are you sure about this?" "I'm sure. I need you to trust me on this." "Okay. If this is what you need to do, we'll support you. But Christopher, what about the kids? Emily's going to take them to a movie during dinner. They won't be there." Okay. Just be careful, honey." Week 9, I confirmed the plan with my sister Emily over coffee. "I need you to take Ethan and Lily to a movie on Thanksgiving, around 5, before dinner." Emily frowned. "Why?" "Because I'm going to tell everyone about Amanda's affair, and I'm serving her divorce papers, and I don't want the kids there." Emily's eyes went wide. "Jesus Christ, Chris, at Thanksgiving?" "I know how it sounds." "Do you?" "Because it sounds insane. She destroyed our marriage, Em. She's been lying to everyone, making me look like the bad guy while she sneaks around with her boss. I'm done pretending." Emily studied me. "You've changed. You're colder." "Yeah, well, betrayal does that." She sighed. "Okay, I'll take the kids. But Chris, make sure you're doing this for the right reasons. I'm doing it so our kids grow up knowing their dad didn't let them stay in a house built on lies." Week 10. the final week before Thanksgiving. The custody hearing happened on Monday. I showed up with Marcus, with 3 months of documentation, calendars, photos, school records, medical records, proof of Amanda's absences. Her attorney had scrambled to prepare. Amanda hadn't known about the filing until she was served the week before. She'd lost her mind, calling me dozens of times, swinging between apologetic and enraged. I didn't respond. I forwarded everything to Marcus. The judge reviewed the evidence, listened to both sides. Amanda's attorney argued that she was a good mother, that her work schedule didn't make her less fit. Marcus calmly presented my documentation, the affair, the STD, the pattern of absence and deception. The judge ruled in my favor, temporary primary physical custody to me, with Amanda getting supervised weekend visitation pending the final divorce proceedings. When we left the courthouse, Amanda was standing outside with her attorney, her face blotchy from crying. She tried to approach me. "Chris, please, we need to talk." "Talk to my lawyer," I said, and walked past her. That night, she came to the house to pick up some of her things. I'd already moved her clothes to the guest room. She stood in the doorway of what used to be our bedroom, looking at the space where her stuff used to be. "I can't believe you're doing this," she said. I didn't look up from my laptop. "Doing what? Getting divorced? You did that when you slept with Brandon?" "I made a mistake." "You made dozens of mistakes, for months. You looked me in the eye and lied. You brought home an STD and tried to gaslight me into thinking I was crazy. That's not a mistake, Amanda. That's a choice." She started crying. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was stupid and selfish, and you never meant for me to find out. That's what you never meant. Can we please just talk about this? Without lawyers and court orders, and there's nothing to talk about. You destroyed this marriage. Now you get to live with it." She left. I heard her car pull out of the driveway and felt nothing. Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, Amanda tried one more time. She called. I didn't answer. She texted, "Please don't do this. Whatever you're planning, please. Think about the kids. Think about our families." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed, "I've been thinking about the kids for 10 weeks. Where were you?" I didn't send it. I just put the phone down and went back to preparing. That evening, I printed the final documents, divorce papers, custody orders, photo evidence, phone records, a timeline of the affair. I put them in a leather portfolio, professional, organized, undeniable. I wrote letters to Ethan and Lily to be given to them when they were older, letters explaining why their parents' marriage ended, why I'd done what I did, how much I loved them. I went to bed early, couldn't sleep, just lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about what I was about to do. The morning of Thanksgiving, I woke up at 6, made coffee, made breakfast for the kids, pancakes, Ethan's favorite. We ate in the quiet kitchen, just the 3 of us. Lily was excited about seeing her cousins. Ethan asked if he could play football with Uncle Marcus. "Of course, buddy," I said. Normal morning, cartoons, syrup on the table. Lily's laugh when Ethan made a dumb joke. Amanda came downstairs at 8, dressed nicely. She'd made an effort. Makeup, hair done, a dress she knew I used to like. "Morning," she said carefully. "Morning." "Are we riding together to your parents'?" "Sure." The drive to my parents' house was silent. Amanda tried once. "Chris, I know things are bad right now, but can we just try to be civil for today?" "I'm always civil, Amanda." She didn't know what was coming. She thought this was just another awkward holiday in the middle of a divorce. She thought she could smile and play the victim and get sympathy from our families. She had no idea. We pulled up to my parents' house at noon. The place looked beautiful. My mom had gone all out with fall decorations. Pumpkins on the porch, a wreath on the door, the smell of turkey wafting out even from the driveway. Cars everywhere. My parents, my siblings and their families, Amanda's parents, her brother Jason and his wife, cousins, aunts, uncles, 32 people total. I'd counted. We went inside, hugs, greetings, the usual chaos. Ethan and Lily ran off to play with their cousins. Amanda's mom, Linda, hugged me. "Christopher, so good to see you. How are you holding up?" She knew we were divorcing. Amanda had told her parents last week, though I doubted she'd told them why. "I'm okay, Linda. Taking it day by day. These things are so hard, but you'll both get through it." I just nodded. Amanda played her part well. She helped in the kitchen, laughed at my dad's bad jokes, doted on Lily when she ran through. To anyone watching, she looked like a devoted wife and mother going through a rough patch. I watched her perform and thought, in a few hours, everyone will know. 4 o'clock rolled around. Emily caught my eye. Time for the movie? I nodded. Hey kiddos, I called. Aunt Emily's taking you to see that new animated movie. You excited? Ethan and Lily cheered. Amanda looked confused. I thought they'd stay for dinner. They'll eat when they get back, I said. Emily's treat. Amanda frowned but didn't argue. I hugged Ethan and Lily tightly. Longer than usual. Ethan squirmed. Dad, you're squeezing too hard. Just love you guys. Have fun at the movie. They left with Emily. I watched the car pull away and felt my heart rate pick up. No turning back now. 5:15. Everyone was gathering in the dining room. My parents had set up the big table with extensions, long enough to fit everyone. Kids' folding table removed now that the children were gone. The smell of turkey and stuffing and pie filled the house. Normal, warm, familial. I took my seat near the head of the table. Amanda sat next to me, like always. She squeezed my hand under the table, a small gesture, probably trying to signal unity to our families. I didn't squeeze back. My dad stood at the head of the table. All right, everyone, let's settle down. Time for grace. Everyone held hands around the table, 32 adults linked in prayer. My dad led, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this food, for this family, for the blessings of another year together. We ask that you watch over us, guide us, and help us to love each other even in difficult times. Amen. Amen, everyone echoed. My mom started the tradition she did every year. Okay, now everyone takes a turn, saying one thing they were grateful for. Around the table it went. My mom was grateful for her grandchildren. Marcus was grateful for his new job. Amanda's dad, Robert, was grateful for his health. Amanda's mom, Linda, was grateful for family togetherness despite challenges. She glanced at Amanda and me when she said it. Amanda's turn. She smiled, wiped at her eyes like she might cry. I'm grateful for my family, for my career, which has grown so much this year, and for a husband who supported me through everything. I felt my jaw tighten. Several people glanced at me sympathetically. They knew we were divorcing, thought this was Amanda being gracious. Then it was my turn. I stood up. No one else had stood. People looked confused. I'm grateful for a lot this year, I started. My voice was calm, steady. But mostly I'm grateful for truth and clarity. Amanda's face went pale. She reached for my arm. Chris, I gently pulled away. For 10 years, I thought I knew my wife. I thought we had a strong marriage. Not perfect, but solid. Built on trust and partnership. The room was silent now, everyone staring. In October, Amanda went on a work trip to Scottsdale, Arizona. She called it a leadership retreat, team building. She was gone 4 days. Amanda's hand went to her mouth. Chris, don't, I kept going. When she came back, she seemed different, distant. 3 weeks later, I went to my doctor because I was having symptoms. Burning, discharge. I thought it was a bladder infection. My mother's hand covered her mouth. Amanda's mother looked confused, not understanding yet. I was diagnosed with chlamydia, an STD, which is interesting because I've been faithful for 10 years. Collective gasp. Amanda's father, Robert, stood up. Now, wait just a... I pulled out the portfolio from under my chair. Amanda tested positive too. Same strain, same timeline. I opened the folder, laid out the medical documents on the table. These are our test results, both positive, contracted and transmitted in October. Amanda was crying now. You're doing this here? You're humiliating me in front of my family? I'm telling the truth, I said calmly. Something you stopped doing months ago. I pulled out the photos, Jane's surveillance photos, Amanda and Brandon at restaurants, in the parking lot, kissing, hotel check-ins. I spread them on the table like a terrible deck of cards. This is Brandon, Amanda's boss. These photos were taken over the last 2 months by a private investigator I hired. While I was home with our kids, Amanda was meeting Brandon at hotels, lying about visiting friends, lying about work obligations. Amanda's mother, Linda, was crying now. Amanda, tell him this isn't true. Tell him... Amanda's voice broke. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, I said, pulling out the phone records. It was dozens of decisions, hundreds of texts, multiple hotel visits, Months of lying to me, to our kids, to all of you. Jason, Amanda's brother, stood up. Amanda? What the fuck? My dad moved between us, trying to keep peace. Christopher, maybe we should... No, Dad, everyone needs to hear this. Because Amanda has been telling people I'm paranoid, controlling, that I don't trust her because I'm insecure about her career. I looked around the table. But I'm not paranoid. I'm just the only one who knew the truth. I pulled out the final documents, 2 sets of divorce papers. I slid one across the table to Amanda. These are divorce papers, filed 3 weeks ago. Grounds, adultery. Then I walked around the table to Amanda's parents, handed them the other set. Mr. and Mrs. Chen, I'm sorry you're learning this way, but your daughter destroyed our marriage. She brought home a disease. She looked me in the eye and lied when I confronted her. She made me feel crazy for trusting my instincts. Robert Chen's face was red. You ambush us like this? At Thanksgiving? Your daughter ambushed our marriage, I said. I'm just done pretending it's salvageable. Amanda lunged across the table, trying to grab the photos, rip them up. My brother Marcus caught her arm. Amanda, don't. She was screaming now. You're a monster. You planned this. I plan to protect our children, I said, and my voice cut through her hysteria. I've spent 10 weeks gathering evidence, filing for divorce, securing custody. And you know why I did it that way? Because I knew if I confronted you, you'd lie. You'd manipulate. You'd make me the bad guy. I pulled out the custody order. This is temporary custody, granted to me on Monday. I have primary physical custody of Ethan and Lily. You get supervised weekend visits. The room erupted. Amanda's father yelling at me, my mother crying, Amanda's mother demanding to know how this happened, my siblings trying to calm everyone down. Amanda's voice broken. Chris, please, we can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. I looked at her, really looked at her. You can't fix what you already destroyed. I'm just done pretending you didn't. I walked to the door. Behind me, chaos. Amanda sobbing, her family yelling, my family trying to process. At the door, I turned back one more time. I'm sorry Thanksgiving is ruined, but I'm not sorry for telling the truth. Everyone here deserves to know who they're breaking bread with. I walked out, sat in my car in my parents' driveway and just breathed. My hands were shaking. Adrenaline, probably, or relief, or the weight of what I'd just done hitting me all at once. My phone exploded, text after text. Amanda, 37 messages in 10 minutes, apologetic, then angry, then desperate. I'm so sorry. Please, we can work through this. To, you'll pay for humiliating me. To, please don't take my babies away from me. I didn't respond, just forwarded them all to Marcus. Amanda's mother called. I let it go to voicemail. My mother called. I answered. Christopher, come back inside. I can't, Mom. I can't be in that house right now. Where are you going? To pick up the kids. Emily's going to bring them to your house through the side door. Can they stay with you tonight? Of course. Honey, are you okay? Was I okay? I'd just detonated a bomb in the middle of my family's Thanksgiving dinner. I'd exposed my wife's affair to 32 people. I'd handed out divorce papers like they were party favors. I don't know, I said honestly, but it's done. I drove to the movie theater, texted Emily. She brought Ethan and Lily out through the back exit, away from the crowds. Dad, Lily ran to me, excited. The movie was so good. I scooped her up. I'm glad, baby girl. Ethan looked at me carefully. Dad, are you okay? You look weird. I'm okay, buddy, just tired. We drove back to my parents' house, used the side entrance Emily had left unlocked, avoided the main room where I could hear raised voices, arguments, crying, the sound of our families trying to make sense of what I'd just done. I got the kids settled in the guest room, pajamas, teeth brushed, tucked in. Ethan asked again, Dad, something's wrong. What happened? I sat on the edge of his bed. Mom and Dad are having a hard time right now. That's why we're separating. But you guys are safe. You're always going to be safe. Is it because Mom did something bad? I paused, chose my words carefully. Mom and Dad both made mistakes, but we're going to figure it out. And no matter what, we both love you. He nodded, not fully understanding, but trusting me. Okay. Lily was already asleep, clutching her stuffed rabbit. I kissed her forehead, kissed Ethan's forehead. I love you guys so much. Love you too, Dad. I left them there and went to the room I'd stayed in as a kid. My old twin bed, my old posters still on the wall, sat on the edge of the bed and just existed. I'd imagined this moment for 10 weeks. The confrontation, the exposure, the look on Amanda's face when she realized I knew everything. I thought I'd feel victorious, vindicated, some kind of cathartic release. Instead, I just felt empty, exhausted, like I'd been running a marathon and finally crossed the finish line, only to realize there was nothing waiting for me on the other side. I didn't sleep that night, just lay there, listening to my kids breathe in the room next door, and thought about how different tomorrow would be. For all of us. The week after Thanksgiving was a blur. Word spread fast. Our families talked, friends talked. Probably half the neighborhood knew by Sunday. I stayed at my parents' house with the kids. Amanda had moved into an apartment across town, alone. She tried to contact me constantly. Calls, texts, emails. The messages swung wildly between apologetic and angry. I made a mistake, please forgive me, to, you're a cruel bastard, to, I can't believe you'd hurt our kids like this. I didn't respond. Everything went straight to Marcus. Amanda's parents called, her mother crying, Christopher, I'm so sorry. We had no idea. We never would have, if we'd known. Her father, gruff and ashamed, you did what you had to do. I can't defend what she did. They were kind, mortified by their daughter's actions. I appreciated it, but kept my distance. This wasn't about them. The professional fallout came quickly. Marcus had sent the evidence, photos, hotel records, phone logs, to Amanda's company's HR department. Corporate policy prohibited relationships between supervisors and subordinates, especially when undisclosed. HR launched an investigation. 2 weeks later, the results. Brandon was demoted, transferred to a satellite office 2 states away. Amanda was put on formal probation, her promised promotion rescinded. They didn't fire either of them, probably to avoid wrongful termination lawsuits, but the message was clear. And Brandon, he cut off all contact with Amanda the moment his career was threatened, blocked her number, refused to meet. Just gone. Amanda texted me about it. He won't even talk to me. After everything, he just left. I didn't respond. What was I supposed to say? That men who sleep with married women at work conferences tend not to be heroic? That he'd used her and now she was dealing with the consequences? She'd made her choices. Now she got to live with them. The custody arrangement held. I had Ethan and Lily during the week. Amanda got supervised visits on weekends, supervised because the judge had been concerned about her emotional instability after the Thanksgiving incident. She'd apparently screamed at the mediator during one session, broken down crying in another. I didn't gloat. I just focused on the kids. Those first weeks were hard. The house felt different with Amanda gone. Quieter, emptier, but also stable. No more tension. No more wondering where she was or who she was with. Just me and the kids, building a new normal. Ethan asked a lot of questions. Why can't we see Mom more? Did you stop loving her? Is it my fault? That last one broke me. I knelt down, looked him in the eye. Buddy, none of this is your fault, not even a little bit. Sometimes adults hurt each other too much to stay together. But you and Lily are not the reason. You are the best things in our lives. Then why is Mom so sad all the time? Because she made choices that hurt people, and now she's dealing with the consequences. But that's not on you to fix. Lily was younger, didn't understand as much. She just cried for her mom at bedtime sometimes. Those nights I'd hold her, rock her, sing the lullabies Amanda used to sing, and feel the full weight of what I'd done. I'd protected my kids from a toxic situation, but I'd also blown up their world. Both things were true. One night, about 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, I sat in the kitchen after the kids were asleep. Just me, a beer, and the quiet house. And I let myself think about what I'd done. Did I have to expose Amanda at Thanksgiving, in front of 32 people? Or was part of me just angry? Yeah, I was angry. I wanted her to feel what I felt, exposed, humiliated, powerless. I wanted her family to know who she really was. I wanted everyone who'd looked at me with pity to know the truth. Was that justice or revenge? Maybe both. Maybe the line isn't as clear as we want it to be. My sister Emily came over one evening, helped me clean up after dinner, sent the kids upstairs to play. "How are you doing?" she asked. "I'm okay, tired, but okay." "You know people are talking, right?" "I figured. Some think you were justified. Some think you went too far, that you humiliated Amanda when you could have just divorced her quietly." I looked at Emily. "What do you think?" She was quiet for a moment. "I think she broke your heart, and you made sure she couldn't pretend she didn't. But I also think you're carrying that now. Both what she did and what you did." I nodded. "I don't regret leaving. I regret that the kids had to see even a fraction of it. They didn't see the worst of it. You made sure of that. Doesn't make it easier." Emily squeezed my shoulder. "No, but you're doing the right thing now. Being present, being stable. That's what matters." 4 weeks after Thanksgiving, Amanda asked to meet for coffee. Neutral public place, per Marcus's advice. I agreed. She looked different, thinner, dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She'd always been meticulous about her appearance. Now she looked defeated. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. I just nodded. "I wanted to apologize, really apologize. Not because I want you back or because I think it'll change anything, just because you deserve to hear it." Okay, I was selfish, stupid. I got caught up in something that made me feel exciting and young and, I don't know, desired. And I told myself it wasn't hurting anyone because you didn't know, which is the dumbest logic in the world. She wiped at her eyes. "When you confronted me about the STD, I panicked. I thought if I admitted it, I'd lose everything. So I lied, and then I kept lying, and it just got worse. Yeah, it did. I never meant to hurt you or the kids. But you did, and you kept doing it, even after I confronted you." She looked down at her coffee. "I know, I was scared of losing my kids, my family's respect, my job. So I thought if I could just deny it long enough, maybe it would go away. It didn't go away. You just made it worse." "I know," her voice cracked. "I lost everything anyway. Brandon won't talk to me. My parents barely speak to me. I'm on probation at work. I get to see my kids 2 days a week, supervised. And every time Lily cries because she wants to stay with me, it kills me." I didn't say anything. What was there to say? "I'm not asking you to forgive me," Amanda continued. "I'm not even asking you to feel sorry for me. I just wanted you to know that I know what I did, and I'm sorry." I looked at her. This woman I'd loved for a decade, who'd given me 2 beautiful children, who'd sat next to me through bad movies and good dinners and 1,000 ordinary moments, and I felt nothing. No love, no hate, just exhaustion. "I appreciate the apology," I said, "but it doesn't change anything." "I know. You destroyed something that took years to build, and you did it for what? A few months of excitement? A guy who bailed the second it got inconvenient?" She flinched. "I know. I hope you figure out why you did it. I hope you get therapy, work on yourself, become a better person. Not for me, for Ethan and Lily. They deserve a mom who has her shit together." "I'm trying," she whispered. "Good." We sat there for a few more minutes in uncomfortable silence. Then I stood. "I have to pick up the kids from soccer. Can I come? Just to watch?" "No, that's not how this works. You'll see them this weekend." Her face crumpled, but she nodded. "Okay." I left, drove to the soccer field, watched Ethan play, cheered when his team scored, bought him a Gatorade afterward. Normal dad things. And I realized I didn't need Amanda to understand why I'd done it. I didn't need her forgiveness or her acceptance. I just needed to keep showing up for my kids. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. We'd settled everything out of court. Marcus's evidence was too strong for Amanda's attorney to contest. I got primary custody, the house, and a fair division of assets. Amanda got weekend visitation, eventually unsupervised once she completed a parenting evaluation and counseling. We fell into a routine, awkward drop-offs and pickups, polite texts about school schedules and medical appointments. We weren't friends, we weren't enemies, we were just 2 people who used to be married, trying to co-parent without destroying our kids in the process. Ethan started seeing a therapist, talked about his feelings about the divorce, about missing the way things used to be, about being scared when adults yelled. It helped. He seemed lighter after a few months. Lily adjusted in her own way. She made me a drawing once, stick figures of her, Ethan, and me, all holding hands and smiling. Above it, she'd written, "My family." Amanda wasn't in the picture. I put it on the fridge anyway. I started seeing a therapist too. Talked about the anger, the betrayal, the guilt. The therapist asked me once, "Do you regret how you handled the exposure?" I thought about it. I don't regret leaving. I don't regret protecting my kids or gathering evidence. But do I regret doing it at Thanksgiving in front of everyone? Sometimes it was cruel, effective but cruel. Can both be true? Yeah, I think both are true. I started rebuilding my life in small ways. Reconnected with friends I'd neglected during the marriage. Started running. Needed something to do with the restless energy. Got a promotion at work, better salary, more stability. One evening, about 8 months after the divorce, a coworker named Sarah asked me to get coffee. She was in accounting, quiet, funny in a dry way. We'd been friendly for years, but never anything more. "Just coffee," she said. "No pressure." I hesitated. "I appreciate it, but I'm not ready for that yet." "That's okay, but when you are, let me know." It felt good, not the invitation, the possibility. The idea that someday I might be ready to trust someone again. Just not yet. 1 year after that Thanksgiving, I hosted my own Thanksgiving at my house. Just my parents, Emily and Marcus, and the kids. Small, quiet, no drama. Ethan and Lily helped cook. We made a mess in the kitchen, burned the rolls, forgot to add sugar to the cranberry sauce. It was chaotic and imperfect and full of laughter. After dinner, after the kids went to play, I stepped outside onto the porch, looked at the same street, the same neighborhood where Amanda and I had raised our family. Everything looked the same, but everything was different. My mom came outside, wrapped a shawl around her shoulders against the November cold. "You doing okay, honey?" "Yeah, Mom, I am." "It's been a hell of a year." "Yeah, it has." She squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you, for how you've handled everything, for putting those kids first. I did what I had to do. I know, but it wasn't easy. I thought about Amanda, about the Thanksgiving dinner where I had exposed her, about the months of cold calculation and careful documentation, about the looks on our family's faces. No, I said, it wasn't easy, but it was necessary, and I'd do it again. My mom went back inside. I stood on the porch a little longer, listening to my kids laugh through the window. Ethan was showing Lily some video on his tablet, normal sibling stuff. A year ago, I destroyed my marriage at a Thanksgiving table in front of 30 people. Some people still think I was right. Some think I was cruel. I think I did the only thing I could live with. I'm not the same person I was. I'm harder in some ways, more guarded. I don't trust easily anymore, but I'm also here, present. My kids know their dad didn't abandon them when things got ugly. That has to count for something. Amanda's doing better, from what I hear. She's in therapy, trying to rebuild her relationship with Ethan and Lily. She's civil at drop-offs now. Sometimes she even manages a small smile. I don't smile back, but I don't scowl either. We just coexist. She lost a lot. Her family's respect took months to rebuild. Her career is stalled. She lost half her time with the kids. Did I do that to her, or did her choices do that? Maybe both. Maybe the line isn't as clear as I want it to be. But I sleep better now than I did when I was lying next to someone I couldn't trust. I wake up in the morning and don't have to wonder where she was the night before, or who she was texting. I can look at my kids and know I fought for them, even when it got ugly. Is that revenge? Justice? Survival? I don't know anymore. What I do know is this. I've got 2 kids who need me. I've got a job that pays the bills. I've got a house that's slowly starting to feel like home instead of a crime scene. Sarah texted me last week, asked if I wanted to grab lunch. I said yes. Nothing serious, just lunch. But it felt like a step. Was it worth it? The exposure, the fallout, the nuclear option at Thanksgiving dinner? I don't know. But I know this. I sleep better. My kids know I fought for them. And when Ethan asks me someday what I did when life fell apart, I can tell him the truth. I faced it. I documented it, and I walked away with my head up. That's not revenge. That's just refusing to be a victim. And maybe that's enough. The other night, Lily crawled into my lap while we were watching a movie. She looked up at me with those big brown eyes, Amanda's eyes, and said, "Daddy, are you happy?" I thought about it, really thought about it. "Yeah, baby girl, I am." and I meant it. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm scarred, cautious, slower to trust. I'm a single dad juggling work and 2 kids and the logistics of a co-parenting schedule that requires a color-coded calendar. But I'm here. I'm present. I'm building something new from the wreckage of what I thought I had. And someday, maybe not today, maybe not this year, but someday, I'll be ready to trust again, to love again, to believe that not everyone will betray me the way Amanda did, just not yet. For now, I've got Ethan's soccer games and Lily's dance recitals and bedtime stories and burnt dinners and inside jokes and the kind of ordinary, beautiful chaos that makes up a life. It's not the life I planned, but it's mine, and I'm grateful for it. So yeah, I destroyed my marriage at a Thanksgiving table in front of 30 people. I exposed my wife's affair, handed out divorce papers like they were holiday greeting cards, and walked away while chaos erupted behind me. Was it justice? Revenge? Catharsis? All of the above, probably. But here's what I know for sure. I didn't quit. I didn't let betrayal break me. I didn't let my kids grow up thinking it's okay to accept being treated like I was treated. I faced the truth. I acted on it. And I built something better. That's not revenge. That's just survival. And sometimes survival is the sweetest victory of all.